Yeah. Hey everybody, Terrence Popp here with another Q&A session for this week. But I don't have a lot of booze, and New Year's is coming up quick, so we're going to get this over.
If you had to bang one, Hillary Clinton or Angela Merkel?
Like me, okay, honestly, you know, the Merkel chick is just stupid, and I could probably bang her long before I could do the Hillary thing, because the German accent would put it over the top, I think. Just turn off the lights, but Hillary is no way. She's just evil, man. I don't need that.
You're far too kind. Is there like a third option?
We can put your eyes out and jump off a high building.
Can I go like eat out the rotten asshole of a road-killed skunk?
I don't think that'll work. It's not bad enough.
Fuck. All right.
Hey, it's a question. They asked it. We're answering it.
A fleshlight filled with broken glass it is.
Nice. They can't pull that shit out. They can't see it with glass gets in your body. It's next to impossible to find, right? I've seen it before. It's ugly.
Worth it.
That'd be worth it.
There are some guys who have screwed me over in the past. There are some from my time in the Army over 20 years ago who I still hate. I mean, I would like to still go knock on their doors and kick them in the balls. I can't seem to let things go like most people seem to be able to, given enough time. How do you deal with old memories of people who need an ass kicking, and what do you advise for others who really need to let go of ancient history?
All right. I deal with this all the time, and what you're explaining to me is fairly common with veterans. It's called a grudge-a-thon. I myself maintain a beat-on-sight list. I try to remove one a year from there, either by a confrontation or I just get over it. Yeah, I mean, the beat-on-sight list, I mean...
I'm just imagining like some dude getting up in his fucking boxers on Sunday morning. He has his breakfast and he goes to the front door with his cup of coffee and you're just like, what's up? Boom! Just fucking lay his ass out. And all right, we check off the one for the year. We move on.
Well, I mean, I've served with a lot of people who should not have been in charge, who made horrible decisions, risked people's lives, to including my own.
Someone's gonna die.
Yes, it's unacceptable. And a lot of times, the people that you hate, they know you hate them, and everyone else hates them too, and it's because of a reason.
Yeah, I think you put it best in one of our older episodes. We're talking about cutting away the crazy chicks.
Oh yeah, shit.
Or no, it was chicks with multiple divorces.
Oh yeah.
You know, because there's only so much that you can pass off on someone else. If one person has a problem with you, that's personal. But if everybody has a problem with you, that's your problem.
It's absolutely true. But yeah, you know, they tell you, like, you know, Jesus, turn the other cheek. You know what happens when they turn the other cheek, you know what I'm saying? I don't do that. But, you know, I had to change my thought process. I did that by writing my book, and I explained it in detail how I did that. You have to retrain your thinking. You have to basically upgrade your software. It's hard, but it can be done, and you'll see once you get to the back end of it, you become a little bit enlightened. You'll be happier for it.
Merry Christmas, guys. Hope the fat fuck pulls something nice out of his sack for you.
Said sack.
That sounds wrong in like 3 or 4 different ways.
Yeah.
What do you think can be done to limit the chance of another pesky truck of peace attack other than equipping every HGV driver with a Glock? Also, how long do you think we must wait before the people in Europe wake the fuck up and do something proactive?
Well, it would have been nice if they would have woke the fuck up 6 months ago. But apparently the liberals and /feminists of the Western world are embracing Islam. Even though when it does get here and it is in effect, they will not like the feminists.
No, they're going to be like first on their list. I don't know. Merkel is running that country into the ground. Whoever that brain-dead sack of shit was on Twitter after Trump got elected who said that Angela Merkel was now the leader of the free world, you are clearly mixing medications. You need to stop that. I'm not saying that every nation right now needs some kind of nationalist uprising, and the last time Germany did it, it spelled some pretty bad news, but it might be warranted in this case.
Yep, I really, I don't know about how you feel out there, but if somebody in a certain population is planning crazy shit and the people around them don't report them, they're accepting that behavior by remaining silent.
Truck drivers, Germans, random Europeans, whoever you are, I mean, all prep should be the same. You need to pull your head out of your ass and realize that these people flooding into your country, taking up your resources and raping your women, They're not your friends. No matter how much Angela Merkel wants them to be, they are not your friends.
Nope.
So you need to...
It's happening with Sweden, Denmark. Like Sweden, I believe, is the rape capital of the world now, isn't it?
Yeah. The Western world, at least.
Yeah, and everyone holds them up to such a high standard of, like, everyone there is happy, we should be like them. Well, that's working out for them real well, isn't it?
As they bend over and take it in the shitter.
I have a question related to an email that I sent you recently. It is about women paying alimony to men, or they like to call it manimony.
He writes like you write.
Yeah.
I suggest that you...
Conan writing.
I suggest that you receive the email and probably read it, but can I have an official answer if you actually plan to comment on this bizarre thing in some of the next shows?
I mean, that comment about my writing, I have had probably about 10 people in my career. They walk into my office like, Popp, whenever I read anything that you write, I can hear the sound of the Conan drums in the background. I can't help it, man. I'm a caveman.
Popp, you got a generator? No, I just have this big wheel around back. I take my shirt off and I go fucking push on it.
The wheel of pain for 10 years.
That's basically what alimony is. So,
yeah. I mean, here we are, we come into another case of double standards. Like, women think they can get away with assaulting a man, hitting him in the face, and they can't hit you back. It's bullshit. Everyone has the right to defend themselves.
That college athlete recently. Everybody's bitching and moaning because he didn't get suspended or anything.
No, there was that one. I don't know, there's a couple.
Well, the woman's on video slapping him in the face, and he finally got sick of it, hauls off, and fucking
gives her a
knocks
left
her ass
hook.
out.
Boom, put her down.
I would consider that effective conflict resolution, personally.
Well, I mean, women can serve in combat now, so if they're going to engage in combat, they're going to get combat in return. All right. And all the women out there who say that's bad, well, when feminism was pushing for this, you didn't say shit, so F off.
Now it's here. Suck it up, buttercup.
You're going to get it now. As for the alimony, I don't have a problem with it. It should be more common. And hey, since women are going to college more, making more money than dudes, then hey, let it stand.
But I thought there was a wage gap.
Yeah, there's no fucking wage gap. The fuck out of here.
Fuck your mother. Yeah.
I mean, you know, we, since 1970, we sent 2/3 of our jobs overseas for the Chinese to do it because they do it cheaper. Do you really think if they were really paying women 77 cents compared to $1 for a dude, every woman in the United States would be employed right now and dudes would be sitting on the fucking couch? Not that we don't do that right now, the MGTOW guys, but all the red pill MGTOW guys out there, I don't blame you for not being willing to step up and send your tax dollars into the big green machine. But that's just me.
Dudes have been paying alimony now for how long?
Yeah.
And women want to say that's all part of the patriarchy that they're fighting against. But every time alimony reform is ever brought up,
the feminists always
they always fucking smack it down. Same thing with shared parenting. Feminists don't want you to lose custody of your kids and pay alimony. Every time it gets brought up, they fucking smack it down. It's all just PR, psyop spin bullshit.
Yeah. It's another instance of feminism wanting to cherry pick the benefits and not take any of the bad shit that goes with those benefits.
All the perks and none of the responsibility.
Yep.
I'd vote for you fucks in a heartbeat. You could contact Germany's leftover men in the military and become figureheads of the big burly reballing of white Europe. Here those pampered 68 lefty draft dodgers went so far down the rabbit hole of equity and socialism that they gave up my homeland to invaders of the MENA region, and they expect me to cheer for it. When the big war comes, how do you cover the smell of mass graves?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been present when several mass graves were uncapped. And it was horrible. There's a lot of fucking people in there, just mostly rags and bones, but it was fucking nasty. And you can actually smell it through the ground, too, if it's big enough.
Ugh.
It's terrible. I mean, I worked out of Abu Ghraib prison in 2004 in Iraq for 8 months. And there was, I think it was 3 mass graves that they uncapped and had mortuary affairs, and they're sorting through all that shit. And it was so big, they finally just covered it back up and said, fuck it.
Febreze!
I don't know. As for the reballing of Germany and Europe,
that's going to take some time.
That whole Euro took your last testicle, I think. And you guys are going to have to get over that bullshit before you can actually focus on anything else. Because when you have one country working at a crazy deficit and the rest of Europe paying for it, that's bullshit. It's bullshit here and it's bullshit there.
That's why Britain left.
Yeah.
Follow the example. But Brexit was a good thing, no matter what the liberal media wants you to think.
Yeah. I mean, this whole one world order thing is that's bullshit. It's never going to work.
It doesn't work. Multiculturalism is failing in a gigantic way in Europe.
Yes.
I mean, it's so bad. Places that used to be just ungodly beautiful are now ghetto.
Well, I love how they always say, well, Europe is so peaceful. What? It had 2 world wars fought there. I mean, everywhere you go in Germany, there's bullet holes and all kinds of crazy ass shit. You walk in their graveyard, it's like 2/3 of it's Nazi gravestones. Oh, that's peaceful.
So peaceful. But you know what happens when you go from being peaceful to being a pacifist? You get what's happening in Germany.
You get the fist right up your A-hole. You get effed in the A with a fist.
Favorite foreign food you ate while in one of the many Turkestans of the Middle East?
You know, falafel's okay. I don't really care with a lot of the food they serve, because a lot of times you got sick off eating it, because, you know, we Americans were spoiled. Everyone here pretty much eats like a king. And if you go to McDonald's, you know, once a day, you're putting down enough calories that, you know, I don't know, the King of England would eat back in the 1600s in one day. So I would say the Spanish food in South America and Mexico is probably some of the best. And I love the hot chilies. Even to this day, I go to Del Taco before I come here to film, because I love it.
It's his ritual.
Yeehaw.
He brings his ass in here, he eats his Del Taco, we watch shit, talk about what we're going to do.
And then we do it.
Should civilians be allowed to open carry loaded rifles?
I really don't have a problem with people carrying around weapons. If they don't have a criminal history, and if they want to do it, they feel threatened, that's their business. In regards to its effect on society, I mean, if, you know, an armed society is a peaceful society. I mean, you know, I think we covered that and bring back dueling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, you know, everybody feels safe attacking somebody from behind a keyboard. But you walk up to somebody on the street, or you know, decide that you're going to go all road rage retard on somebody for cutting you off, and then you find out that that person is packing it. Kind of forces you into a position of perpetual politeness.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, would I be uncomfortable? Not really. I've been around armed men my entire life. It doesn't really bother me much. So.
Yeah, having a gun pointed at you is just kind of old hat at this point.
Well, you know, there's been a few occasions where I've had guns pointed at me, and I would say, hey, I hate to disappoint you, but that's not the first time people pointed guns at me. Just saying.
Dear Popp.
Oh, he called you dear.
Dear, huh?
I'm a paramedic on the west side of Michigan, and your videos have gotten me through many a long night. I showed the extinction card video to my partner the other night, and we spent the rest of the night discussing how many extinction points we would give to those who would do things like not yield for our ambulance while we're running with lights and sirens to the scene of a medical emergency.
That's probably 2.
At least.
Yeah, 2. It's, you know, rude and being a dick. It's 2. Yeah.
Yeah, or it's, you know, just these assholes going around with sound systems that cost more than their fucking car.
Yeah.
I also help train new paramedics. What advice would you give them to help maintain their situational awareness so they go home at the end of their shift rather than go to the ER because someone who Darwinism hasn't caught up with yet feels they need to assault them?
There's a few things you need to do. Get a Popp Fest. Get life insurance. Get power of attorney. Gives you some peace of mind if you go in and shit gets crazy. Situational awareness, you pretty much are going to have to train and make sure you... It's hard to...
That comes with experience.
Yeah, the thing is, it's like, once you've been around enough times in a certain situation, you actually can tell if it's not going right. I have that to this day. And my men and me are alive because of the sixth sense. It just happens. You can't really develop it instantly. It takes time. But when you're around enough people, and you'll know when shit's getting squirrely, and if your gut tells you it's wrong, then get in your fucking vehicle and leave.
I would say if you know going into it that that's a risk, you need to assess the risk and do some self-defense shit so that you got your game honed. Somebody decides to haul off on you, try to jack you in the face, you know how to respond appropriately and quickly.
Yeah. And the 2 styles that you should probably focus on, which will give you faster results, is boxing and wrestling. It's just that simple. I mean, I haven't really taken any jiu-jitsu, but I've rolled around with a bunch of them, and it took them about 35 minutes to make me submit. Cops will be there long before that, so... I mean,
well, depending on where you are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those hard styles, you can pick them up like that, and I mean, basically, all of the Americans have, at one point or another, seen boxing, so you have the basic techniques already programmed in your brain pan. You just got to work on the techniques.
Yeah, boxing changes your whole body.
Yep, so is wrestling. You never forget that shit.
Hey, Popp, would you be down for making a video about pastimes for men?
All pastimes for dude are pretty universal, I would think.
Yeah.
Video games, sports, violence, porn, sex, food.
That pretty much covers it right there.
Most of men's primary impulses kind of boil down to food and sex. Usually when you get one, you want the other.
Yeah, I mean, a guy's good night, at home is a steak dinner, a blowjob, and uninterrupted time in front of the football game or hockey. Yeah, it's pretty simple. We're very simple people.
Hey, I need a sandwich, 2 beers, and a BJ, please. I earned it. Do it now.
Yeah.
That should go on a t-shirt.
I probably should.
Probably get, a lot of dudes getting their asses handed to them in a bar or something. You want what? Hey, it's just a shirt. I'm gonna go file a false rape application.
I'm 22 years old and plan on getting a sex robot sooner than I'd ever get married. What are your thoughts on sex robots and how might they make female sexuality virtually next to worth?less?
Let me see. I don't even know how to answer that. I myself could never really get into anything like that. I mean, I like women. I like banging women from time to time, and a robot just seems kind of creepy and stupid. But if it's lifelike and it works for you, I don't give a damn. Do what you got to do. It's probably like the equivalent of a big, dildo for a chick, I guess.
It's like dudes when they're little kids, you find them humping their teddy bears.
Yeah. You gotta learn somewhere. Yeah.
Can you close your eyes? I feel like I'm banging taillights on a country highway.
Didn't I send you that thing where what was it? That machine that was for the sperm donors in Japan or some shit years ago?
No.
Well, I saw that. I was like, oh my god, it's a squirt extractor. Jesus. It's creepy.
It's just a life-size fleshlight at that point, isn't it? I mean,
pretty much.
And
it's a kiosk. It's a kiosk kind of thing.
I've seen those things, and they're just. It's just. I mean, kind of like you watch an animated movie or something like the new Star Wars or Star Trek movies where they have these photorealistic CG characters that interact with people, but when you look them in the eye, you can tell there's just nothing there. It's that uncanny valley feeling. Imagine fucking that. I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it.
It reminds me of that episode in Jaws. It's got doll eyes. It's got doll eyes.
And then it bites you in half.
Could you do one on Steve Shives? He is the king fucking cuck. He needs Pops to help him find his balls.
His balls are gone.
His balls are made of
pussy. That dude has drank so much of the fucking Kool-Aid. I'm pretty sure he's just on a permanent sugar buzz at this point. He is out to lunch. The lights are on, but nobody's home.
I mean, we can look at some of his stuff and do a response video, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if you're prepared for that world of stupid. We may need to get you something stronger than liquid sleep.
Yeah, maybe. Go to 151 or something.
I mean, this dude has been caught, pants down, dick in his hand, just fabricating lies and bullshit to further his agenda. I guess that makes him the perfect feminist. Oh, no, wait, that's right, I forgot. When you're a dude, you can't be a feminist. You can be an ally.
Yeah.
Will you or have you done any videos about the contribution of sororities to the scourge we call the social justice warrior movement? Such as how they are basically cults and directly affect the minds of college girls into the strong, independent social justice warriors that have been making life for men in this country a living hell. How can we stop it?
Well, unfortunately, due to the Constitution, you can't really stop it.
You can't suppress their free speech and give us ours, but you can try to get your message out there loud and clear.
But that person is absolutely correct that those sororities do a lot of brainwashing and lead to a bunch of followers and not leaders, in my opinion.
I'm still just shocked that I even read this question. I mean, I've always looked at sororities as basically breeding grounds for dick-sucking equipment.
Well, it is a training camp for slut walkers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known my fair share of sorostitutes, and most of them don't have a brain in their skull, but they've got a body under it.
And usually young, firm, and good. Yeah. Well, we can we can do a video on what they the psyop tricks that they use to brainwash these chicks, and perhaps we can get it, distributed via you to some of the younger women out there before they get to college, and you can say, hey, this is what's going to happen. They're going to call you in, the unconditional love, the unconditional support, blah blah blah, and you're going to, fall for it, hook, line, and sinker, and before you know it, you're walking down the street with your tits hanging out. Yeah, and guess what? I got 2 daughters, so I have to deal with that in a few years myself. It's gonna be bad.
I'm not even gonna go there.
No, it's gonna be bad.
It'd be great, if you're back here at that point. These fucking dudes come over, want to take your daughters out, and you answer the door with a fucking AR-15. You're like, hey, and then they look behind you in the doorway, and they see your fucking wall covered in swords. It'd be great if you had like a guillotine in the living room.
Yeah, you know what? At the house I own here in Michigan, I usually keep a shrunken head over the fireplace, and my mother just threw a fit over it because she lives there. It's my house. What are you gonna say? And we had this big fight over, like, I own the goddamn house, and if I want a shrunken head over my fireplace, then that's what I'm gonna fucking do. And it was reluctantly accepted.
You can't argue with that. If I want a shrunken head on my fucking fireplace, that's how it's gonna be, woman. And go fix me turkey pot pie.
Yeah, it's funny, Yeah, I got my own house, then she loses hers and moves into mine, So.
And then you got like your schmuck relatives living there who hear you say turkey pot pie, and they're like, "Those are my 3 favorite things."
Question is for Mr. Popp. Not sure if it's for good, bad, or evil. Been listening to a lot of history podcasts the last couple of years. One thing I've noticed is, even here in Australia, is how hard we drop veterans onto the curb. If I look back at an era where soldiers are treated well, as in paid well, supported after service, respected by the people, and hell, even bonus pay, I land on the late Republic and early Empire of Rome. What gives, man, and why did the guys in sandals speaking Latin, which is a good language for a dyslexic person, get a better deal during and after serving than today?
Okay, I believe in the Roman times, you had to do, I think it was either 25 or 30 years of service, and then you got a 20-acre farm. But back then, people who made it to the end of their enlistment or their time in the military, 25, 30 years, was very slim. I do have a problem with refugees coming to the Western world and getting priority resources over the veterans. I think that's a big disparity right there. It's bullshit. But yeah, he's absolutely correct, though, in certain... and I think it basically, like, we don't respect the veterans like we did like 2,000 years ago.
And there used to be a lot more respect for veterans in this country, and I think that's kind of gone away. And you can kind of follow the trend if you look at the trend of the kind of people who have been in office. You go through Congress. Back in the day when like Eisenhower was getting elected president, Congress was primarily veterans.
Yeah.
Now they're primarily figurehead business.
There's very few veterans in the government.
They just don't know how it is, and they don't fucking care. Yeah, they've all been born with silver spoons in their mouths and somebody's thumb up their ass.
Yeah, if you can't speak to it or you don't understand it, then you just don't engage it.
My theory's always been the same. Let's just take the Congress pensions and the veteran pensions, and we swap them, and we'll see how fast shit changes.
All right. Why do you live in New York?
My home is in Michigan, outside Detroit. My lair, because I'm an evil genius, is in New York. That's where my job is. I work for the Army still, so that's just the way it is.
And when you're in the Army, or any branch of the armed forces for that matter, your job is to defend democracy, not practice it. So they point, you go. And that doesn't change, apparently, no matter how long you're in there.
Nope.
Because you're going on 30 years, right?
I'm over 30.
Shit.
Yeah, you know what? And on a side note, I got to be like one of the worst people to work with once you have that much time. Because you know the system. I'm like, sir, regulation states that it has to be done this way. Well, you didn't read the regulation? What's going on here?
Wah.
But yeah, you learn how to, deal with the gray area and bend rules and get shit done once you've been in there long enough.
Yeah.
Because in the Army, you can get a waiver for anything. You can get a waiver for death. I'm serious. They'll promote you after you're dead. Oh, we'll waiver it. So what if he's not breathing? We'll turn him up to. We'll bury him as a sergeant.
Pick up his hand, make him sign.
Pretty much. That is funny. That's the whole comedy skit in itself, right there.
All right, I got a question. because you told me this story, and I want to make sure that it gets shared with our fans
God.
out there, because this is some good shit right here.
This is like...
Everybody, at one point in their life or another, either through the loving invention of beer goggles or whatever, winds up
sliding beer scale?
They wind up sliding on the sliding beer scale into a river of shit.
Yes.
Or, or the pork rind porridge, as we call it. You wind up with somebody a little bit on the hefty side, giving you some service. How did you handle that the one time, Pop?
Well, we were in the second bat, Bravo Company up on Noble Hill. Yeah, hoorah. Came back from the Madigan nightclub with a couple of chicks that they were looking glass challenged and probably a little bit on the gravitationally challenged scale. I had quite a few beers, and we're up there on Noble Hill. She's servicing me, and then I'm like, sobering up. And I come to the point where, like, I'm going to have to talk to this girl afterwards, and I really don't want to. So what do? I mean, I was 21. I run. I just start running. I run down the hill. My ranger buddy, he doesn't know what's going on. He starts running too, because that's the way we work here. One guy runs like, why are you running? Because he's running. And I could hear her in the background. She's like, hey, hey, hey. And we run down the hill right into Charlie Company. And now I was in Bravo Company across the fob from them. But I didn't really know anybody in Charlie Company. But, we all had high and tights back then. And I walk in there, I'm like, I got 2 fat chicks at my tail. He's like, oh, hide in here. And he hid us in a broom closet to the side of the CQ desk. And they come in and I could hear them. I haven't seen anybody come in here, ma'am. I really don't know what's going on. We stayed there for an hour, had a couple more beers, and then went home and went to bed. That was a good time.
You didn't even finish.
No.
She was in the middle of the job, and he's like, I don't want to talk to you. Just fucking pull it out and fucking cut and run.
Just takes off. Just ran away. Good luck catching an airborne ranger, 21 years old. They run 5 miles a goddamn day. You could probably run a mile and a half at almost a dead sprint. You're not catching that guy. You're gone.
Especially not those two.
No.
No. The only thing that they're used to running for is McDonald's breakfast when it's 10:25 a.m.
Well, they were definitely Wamalos in training. I can just say. Am I proud of it now? No. But I was 21. What are you going to do, man? You're in the field 5 days a week. You don't have a lot of time to, date chicks who are good looking. Fuck that. You don't have enough time. It's just the way it works. I can't tell you how many times I came back to the barracks on a Sunday, and all these dudes were bad-mouthing me, because I was out hanging out with some chicks. And I got a lasagna in one hand, full belly. I'm like, and they're playing the duck hunt on Nintendo. Like, have a good weekend. Fuck off. So, it is what it is.
And with that, I think that wraps it up for this week.
Woo! Yeah, we're going to probably do something in the future, like Fireside Army stories. I think you guys might like that. We've got quite a few responses and requests for some military-type stories.
Yep.
And I got a lot of them. Either I lived through it, I was standing there when it happened, or I saw the results of a lot of the craziness that goes on in our military. And if you don't have a good sense of humor, it will break you. Fortunately for me, I did, and I laughed my ass off pretty much through the whole ride. It was good times.
That's what you got to do. And what you got to do, check in the description below, Patreon and PayPal, because we put a lot of time and effort and money into this. So if you guys want to keep seeing it, help us out.
Yeah, while we're at it, hit the subscribe button. Because if you do, I won't cut and run when your wife is blowing me on Noble Hill.